What is up, everybody? It is the Birdman underscore 951 on this Monday after Christmas. And I got my guy, PG Pablo, on the side right here. Great content creator. Me and him just kind of like, we kind of go in this realm, and I love what he says. And I try to give him the best knowledge that I can think of, talking about these birds and everything. And we're just gonna call this Eagles therapy, and
I like
we have to really sit there and really think and take everything that just happened. I'm still, I think after today I'll probably feel a little bit better. It's gonna take me a while to just kind of get over what happened. And just kind of, I think that the Eagles really missed out on an opportunity that would have gave us a little bit of room to kind of figure out what we need to do, fine tune a little bit of things, and kind of piggyback off what we did against the Commanders. So we lost to the Commanders, and it was devastating. Eagles, did everything possible to like mess that game up. They almost did the same thing with Dallas, and I'm hoping that this is a stepping stone for some of greatness to come, because that's what we're going to need, because this is crunch time. This is what we asked for. There's no turning back. We can't say, hey, you know what? I was kidding, y'all. I really didn't want to go to the playoffs and try for something. There's no turning back. There's no looking back for this coaching staff, the organization. The Philadelphia Eagles are all in. We are all in. It doesn't matter how we got here. It doesn't matter how Jalen did it. It doesn't matter about how the defense did it. The receivers did it with the 1,000 yards, and we can go on and on with all the accomplishments. But these accomplishments have to mean something for the Philadelphia Eagles and what the Philadelphia Eagle fans expect from what we're seeing. Because I am not shying away. I'm expecting greatness, because that's what my captain has been preaching since day one. And I owe Jalen Hurts, an apology for doubting the man and thinking that he wasn't going to be able to do this, because I was seeing all the signs, coaching wise, where they're going to let him do what he wanted to do. But, I firmly apologize for even doubting this man. But now is the time that we are asking Jalen Hurts, after what he witnessed, to rise above it all and get this team and get in, preach to the guys, tell them exactly what they need to hear. And we got to go up. Can't go backwards now. We can't go in the spaceship, in the time machine, and do all that. The time is now. And go ahead, Pablo, and say what you want to say.
Nah, well, if you already know, man, when you called me to ask me to be on the show, man, I definitely had to come on and join you. Anytime you call, man, I here I come running. And so thank you for the opportunity to be here, and talk about this team. I love being an Eagles fan for this fact that, I mean, you think about it, we're 13-2 and we're miserable. I mean, we're not satisfied, and that's what I love about this team. Is like, you talk about the standard that Jalen Hurts sets for this team, for the franchise, for the fans, right? And we've taken that this season by the horns, and we've put that on. That's our outfit, and every Eagle fan looking at this game knew that that wasn't our best outing. It wasn't our standard. It wasn't who the Philadelphia Eagles are, right? And so, um, I don't know, man. It's almost like like being a parent, right? You got two kids, and maybe they want the new iPhone, right? And you give one of the kids the iPhone 14 Pro, right? And the other kids get the iPhone 14, just the regular version, but they're going to get the Pro Max, but just in a couple of weeks, right?
Right.
So like the Cowboys, they was able to open their gift and get the iPhone 14 Pro, and it looked good. And it's like Eagles, just hold on, I got you. You know, I'm gonna get it for you in a couple of weeks. And we're just kind of sitting there with the phone, and we're kind of like, what is this? We're kind of ungrateful, right? But I think the point of that is the Eagles have bigger goals, and that's what we have to keep our minds and our eyes set to is the bigger goals. The Eagles are going to get their iPhone 14 Pro.
Manny.
It's coming. It's coming. We're going to get that brand new shiny phone. I think the Eagles needed this though. I think we need.
Okay, let me ask you.
Uh-huh.
Why do you think that?
Number one, I think whenever a team is trying to get to the Super Bowl, there's some national narratives that have to be answered, right? Everybody wants to poke at the Eagles and say, oh, is it Jalen? Is it the system? Now we got that answer figured out. We know it's Jalen Hurts, right? And not only is it Jalen Hurts from a production perspective, just like his aura on the football field, you can clearly see his leadership. When Jalen Hurts was under center, when number 62 was hiking it to number 1, there weren't that many turnovers. The one game he's not there, 4 turnovers. Guys start fumbling the ball. I mean, everybody's doing things uncharacteristic. And sometimes it just helps guys just mentally, you know, when they have their sounding board. See, Jalen Hurts is a sounding board for the Philadelphia Eagles, right? When guys see him around, they know to bring it each and every time, right? And so when someone's presence is not there, you know, I just felt like, you know, the Eagles was just it just was a team that didn't have their father out there. Not to say Jalen is everybody's dad, but I just, you know, it just felt like a kid just that had so much talent but didn't have direction. And that's why you need Jalen Hurts. That's why he's worth the big bucks, is because not only can he get it done for you with his intellect, with his intelligence, his IQ, and his mobility, but he also does it in a way where he gets everybody involved and he's a leader, right? He calms everything around. It's always that one uncle that comes in and, you know, into the party, into the Christmas party, that everybody's all, you know, jumping up. But then the moment he walks in, everybody just calms down, right? So I think the Eagles had to go through that so the media can sort of a little bit like you don't know what's going on. It's definitely Jalen Hurts. And you need a team to be pissed. Now, I will say this. If Jalen Hurts was never injured, right, it'd be totally different. If Jalen Hurts was never injured and we lost this way, we got some problems. But because Gardner Minshew was in and we lost this way, and we still almost beat them. Think about that for a second. We still almost beat them, but almost doesn't count. We don't preach that here in Philadelphia. We, again, give it up to the Cowboys. They came out, they played better, they made more plays than us. So it is what it is. Give credit where credit is due. Whenever you can convert 3rd and 30, that means you're going out there and you're getting it done. But again, one thing I like to remind everybody and your viewers is what we teach and preach in Philadelphia is it's not who is strongest. What does Nick Sirianni say? It's not who's the strongest, it's who's the strongest the longest, right? So you can celebrate now, but just know when you're talking about a pissed off 13-2 Philadelphia Eagles squad with the healthier Jalen Hurts, with the bye week, that's not a team in Philadelphia. It's not a team I want to play.
Yeah, and you know, you said a lot there, and this Saints game is kind of weird. Now, this Saints game is gonna be. I want someone to suffer what happened. Like, I need someone to pay for what we just saw. I need to see that those guys handle business, take care of business with the Saints because someone has to answer for that. You're not going to go back to back and, just kind of like, oh, well, maybe we'll get the Giants next week. No, you're going to get rest. You're going to have plenty of time. You can easily, well, I'll say easily. You can, with the talent you have and everything, this is a very winnable game. And they're going to give you, I don't know what the Saints are fighting for. They're going to give you their best shot. And I was going to say on our Super Bowl run, we lost to the Seahawks. Could we kind of compare? It's kind of a different situation because Carson Wentz did play, but we lost that game. And we struggled with a Russell Wilson. I don't think we beat him once, but story for another day. So could we kind of compare those two games where that kind of rebounded and then we found a way to beat the Rams the following week because it was the two West Coast games. But I know the Saints are not what the Rams were back in the day, but I believe that the Saints are going to want to mess with us and they're going to give us everything they got. And who cares about the playoff or I don't care about the draft pick right now. What I care about is what this team is doing right now. That's a story for another day. I'm not worried. We're not talking draft right now. We're talking about what we need to do to get to the dance. So you think there's a way that this game could be comparable to kind of like give us that rebound to kind of fix some of the things that we really screwed up on?
Every year is different. Every season is different. Obviously, and every roster is different. I don't think it necessarily compares to that Saints team because they were absolutely loaded. I think they had Drew Brees at the time. But I will say this, even with I'm not even sure who's their quarterback.
Andy Dalton
or number 7. The Eagles historically have always struggled against the Saints. Always, right?
Right.
But I think in Philadelphia, if Jalen Hurts plays, coming off a game where the whole world saw you, 3rd and 30. Like if I'm in the huddle before the Saints game, the only thing I gotta say is 3rd and 30. If that doesn't get you up, if that doesn't get you pissed off, if that doesn't make you want to go out and punch the Saints in the mouth, I don't know what will. You know what I mean? Like Nick Sirianni should just get up there and say, 3rd and 30, goddammit. That's it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, but like I said, historically, the Saints have always, the Saints-Eagles rivalry has always sort of been, one of those games you sort of got to keep your eye on. I'll say this, the Eagles, it's a must-win game. This is a must-win game because I'm going to tell you this. The Giants can beat the Eagles. The last game of the season, because that's going to be a game where they're trying to get into the playoffs. They're trying to get into the playoffs. So we Eagles have to win this game because I don't want to see the Giants. The NFL is kind of like a bully. You know what I mean? Some certain teams can be bullies at different points in the season. The Giants in week 7, that's, still trying to show the world what they can do. You're not really scared of them. You'll fight them, but you don't want to fight the Giants the last game of the season, and they need that game to get into the playoffs. Now you have a playoff game before the actual playoffs start. It's just this hope, like, just get the win. And that's why I wish we just would have got the win, because then Jalen would have had not 1, but 2 weeks, not 2 weeks, but 3 weeks, including the first round bye to rest up, heal up. So from that perspective, it's tough. But to get back to your original question, me personally, I am not sleeping on the Saints. Do I believe the Eagles are going to win? Absolutely. I think in Philadelphia, Fletcher Cox is pissed off. Brandon Graham, he's pissed off. Jalen Hurts, he's pissed off. Not only did they not win, he couldn't help them, and he had to watch them. Right? When you talk about competitors, one thing about true competitors, they hate watching. They cannot stand sitting there watching their team lose. And it almost seemed like the Eagles had to keep Jalen Hurts from himself. Jalen Hurts wanted to play that game, but they said no.
Chris saying we need to make a 3rd and 30 t-shirts. Maybe, man. Let's start reading the signs, man. But shout out to Dallas Chris, man. He's a cool guy, man. They be doing content out there, but yeah, man. Chris knows what's up, man. And let me say something to you, Pablo.
Yeah.
Could it just be that the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles are just that good?
Are
we just two good teams?
I'm not going to. The Cowboys are a great football team. I think the Eagles have it. I think we're great and we have it put together more. But I think the Cowboys, I don't want to play the Cowboys the first game of the playoffs. I'll tell you that. I'm not. That's not to say that I'm afraid of them or I think that. No, it's not that. It's just I know the Cowboys can come to play. It's just they just choose a day they want to, right? Yeah. So I'll give the Cowboys their props. They're 11-4, right? You can't say 11-4 football team is right not good. The Cowboys are a solid football team. I think what matters is leadership. And I think Jalen leads his team better than Dak Prescott leads his team, right? I just think that's what it boils down to. You talk about having, 2 all-stars on the defensive side of the ball for Dallas who can't seem to just focus on football, right? They got every other podcast they're on. Oh, we could do this to the Eagles. Is Jalen Hurts this? I'm the real MVP. Trevon Diggs after a game, says, credit me with the interception, right? If those guys, if Micah Parsons and Trevon Diggs was on the Eagles defense, right? Jalen Hurts would have went over there and said, hey guys, this is a team. We're not doing none of the whole how many sacks you got. Micah, you're concerned about MVP, who's winning it, why you should win it. Trevon Diggs, you're more concerned about your interceptions. Hey guys, we're here to win, right? And so when you look at that, Dak Prescott has the talent, but I don't know if he has the leadership. When you look at the Cowboys roster, tell me who's the leader on that team. When you get to the playoffs, you need leaders because it's going to be a lot of energy. Millions of people are going to be watching you. It's a lot at stake, right? So, you think about the temper tantrum that Trevon Diggs threw against the Eagles in the first game, throwing the helmet down in the end zone. It come to playoffs, you got to be able to control yourself. See, the Eagles have been through a lot the whole season. We've done this, but the results was 13-2. And that's because we have control. That's because Jalen Hurts, he preaches it. We got the week. We got the week. Keep the main thing the main thing. We'll still believe in each other. No finger pointing. That is what I cared about. If you lose, Eagles, if you go down to Dallas and you lose, will we start finger pointing? And we didn't. That's what the world is trying to do. They know the Eagles are locked in. When you talk about the city of brotherly love, you're talking about the Philadelphia Eagles. You got guys wearing each other's jerseys, guys supporting each other. That's what Micah Parsons wanted to do. He said, okay, well, I can't touch Jalen Hurts because Lane Johnson won't let me. Jordan Mailata won't let me get my hands on him. So what is the next best thing to do to rattle the Philadelphia Eagles? Oh, let me just say it's not Jalen Hurts, it's a system, right? So when you can't beat somebody physically, you got to try to break them down psychologically. And yes, the Cowboys have a great roster, but when it comes playoff time, and don't forget, it has to come through Philadelphia. We ain't in the nice
not yet
$500 dome.
Not yet.
Not yet. Not yet. Thank you for correcting me. Not yet. But I highly doubt the Eagles lose the last 3 games. Listen.
2 games.
Sorry about the last 2 games. So I don't know. I'll give Dallas their props. You won the game. Great job. But again, one thing that Kobe Bryant did, and I want to say this, and I'll pass it to you. He said 4 words. Kobe said 4 words, and I want to put this out there to the world. And this is something. right? Remember when AJ Brown and Quez Watkins was on the sideline laughing after the touchdown? You remember that? Who was sitting there with the stale face? It was Jalen Hurts. And what I want to say is these 4 words: job is not done. So Cowboys, don't celebrate too soon, because job isn't done yet.
Yeah. And I was thinking about when Gardner Minshew was handing the ball off to Miles Sanders, it brought a memory back, and it went to the Eagles-Raider game when Nick Foles was having trouble handing the ball to, I believe it was LeGarrette Blount, and he said he was telling him, here, like in the chest and all that. And I'll never forget it. And that how do you say that, the brotherhood right there, that team was so connected. They were like brothers. They said, okay, hey, Foles, right, don't be scared, brother. Hit me here.
Yep. Right in the chest. Right in the chest.
Minshew was kind of like a hot potato. Like, I mean, see, the thing is, we asked Gardner Minshew. This game was about house money, and we asked this man to just get in there and try to replicate some greatness thing, and he's all for it. I know he's hurt, man, because he wants to be. He wants people to rally, and you got the shirts and everything and all that. Yeah. He knows that the Philadelphia Eagle fans, they love that stuff, man. And the Philadelphia Eagle fans love a good story about a backup quarterback. We always love the backup quarterback. And so, that he took his pride kind of got shot down a little bit, because he was on the cusp of just winning that game with all the madness that happened, all the dumb things that we did. He was he could have did it right there, but it just didn't happen, man. And it was just like, I was shocked. I was just like, that game was just going 100 miles per hour. That game did not quit. It was just like, and we were matching their energy. We were matching the energy, and it was just. It's been a while since I've seen such a crazy game like that between the division, and like almost the whole division's in the dang playoffs. So that's crazy right there. And the things that are worrying me about this game, and I'll start with Avonte Maddox, and I'm looking down on like his injuries ever since he's been with the Eagles. So it's like knee, week 12, ankle, week 13, 14, 15, and then we go to was it 7, like 5, 6, 7, 8, concussion, week 16, knee. So it's like, as much as I love Avonte Maddox, the writing is just getting on the wall, man. And he's a vital piece to the symphony that the Philadelphia Eagles have right now. And all this stuff needs to work, man. We're just a engine that needs everything to make it go. And even the driver, Jalen Hurts, he has to be driving this thing. And that was taken from us. And I mean, we held on as much as we could, and we fought tooth and nail. But Lane Johnson worries me. He's got the tear on his abdomen, and he's another flow. He's what has this O-line, one of the top O-lines in the NFL. And I was watching Baldy's breakdowns, and I was a little angry about it, because I was listening to Seth Joyner, and he was ripping Jordan Mailata, basically saying that this man is just like not finishing the job until that whistle's blown. And it kind of threw me off a little bit. I was like, what does he mean he's not finishing the job? So it just so happened, I was on Instagram, and I Baldy's breakdowns, and he basically rolled the tape, like the all 22 tape or whatever. So basically, Micah was basically kind of punking Mulata into getting those pressures on Minshew, which Minshew kept throwing the ball away. If you remember those plays, kept throwing out of bounds a lot because Parsons was coming in, and it just he was really punking Mulata. And I don't know if I really don't hear about Jordan that much, that being a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But I also was hearing these other shows, the main Eagles shows, and then they're saying something that ever since the injury, that this has been lurking its ugly head. And there was another couple games where he had some issues, and I was pretty pissed at him because they were getting to, the MVP. And, so I don't know, man. I'm like, is this injury kind of taken? I know we're towards the end of the season. It has it caught up to him and allowed
Jordan Mailata?
Yeah.
I didn't know he was injured.
He had an injury.
Okay.
But is it kind of like creeping its way back where it's affecting his performance? And like Seth Joyner was saying, like he's not finished. He said, finish it when the play is over and don't stop on it. Don't allow someone to get that last little hit, and you can see Dallas was kind of like throwing their arms out, doing, let me get that ball and all. You could see that,
Yeah, so, I think I love Seth, man. I watch his stuff all the time. He's one of the greats players and analysts. He's real raw, and I like what he talks about. I think Seth, he's from old school though, so he wants to see Jordan Mailata pick people up and slam them and twist them and turn them and bend them up and just absolutely break them. But this game features an extra game, 17 games in the season. And I think when he was playing, it was a little shorter than that. So I think you kind of, from a coach's perspective, you got to be smart, and players' perspective, gotta be smart too, because if you want to talk about finishing plays, it's a lot of guys on that Eagles defense, right, who make very, very much business decisions in terms of tackling, right? I love Darius Slay, but if it's a Derrick Henry running his way, he will make a business decision, and that's just a fact. And it's not to say anything like Darius Slay isn't a great cornerback, because he is. He's not the only cornerback that does it. I'm just saying on our team, I've seen guys, not just Slay, right? I just seen guys make business decisions. But listen, Jordan Mailata is 6'8", man. Again, he's a former, and I think sometimes you have to sort of jog your memory and go back to where a guy comes from. Who is he? Like, this is what a lot of these NFL scouts, this is the first thing they go to, right? We see the college highlights, right? We see what they did on the college level. But most coaches, when they first start to sculpt you and sort of see the guts of the player, they go back to high school, because they want to see your habits. They want to see your traits. They want to see if you were able to take those traits all the way to the collegiate level and do something with that. And, Jordan Mailata, again, undrafted, 7th round pick going against a first round 11th player taken in the draft, right? So sometimes we got to remember that, right? Jordan Mailata is 6'8", 6'9". I stood next to the guy when we played against the Commanders this year, and he's all of 6'9", right? Probably 7 foot with cleats on. And a great guy, by the way, really good guy, really good soul, really has
He's I always was pushing for Jordan. There was just something about him, like, like I'm glad he, his path is amazing, man. He's an amazing dude. Just like Jordan, just like Hurts is freaking, his journey is just, it's just kind of getting started. People are kind of like, we're kind of, people sometimes we kind of like, we already put someone somewhere, but we just getting started,
And that's my point about Jordan Mailata is, like, Micah Parsons' path was, high school, Penn State, one of the top schools in Pennsylvania, and then to the NFL. Jordan Mailata's path was very different, right? This guy Canadian football in 2 years having to learn at the Jeff Stoutland University Institute, right? And now you sort of make a name for yourself. She's 6'8", 6'9", going against Micah Parsons, who's uber fast. I mean, that's his whole game. You hear coaches and NFL analysts and scouts talking about bend. This guy has great bend around the corner. Josh Sweat, his bend. What's my guy? Reddick, his bend is crazy as speed. That's Micah Parsons' game, his bend and his speed, right? So I didn't see Micah Parsons have a bad game, right? I don't think Micah Parsons got a sack, right? Pressures, you're going to get that because Dallas may bring different type of blitzes. They kind of bring exotic blitzes, right? So I mean, that's just what Dallas does. And you saw Micah Parsons. He tried to play with Lane Johnson. That didn't work. He tried the Lane Johnson machine. He couldn't put his quarters there, right? Then he tried the Jordan Mailata machine. He couldn't put his quarters there. And then they literally had to stand Micah Parsons up as like a blitzing linebacker to now read and react and sort of navigate to Gardner Minshew because he can't do it one-on-one. And I'll take the time to say that I don't think Micah Parsons is great. He has to watch it now. Watch this. The player, right? The player that wants to ask the world, hey, is it Jalen Hurts or is it the system? That's the same guy who said, is it Jalen or is it system? But why is it that the Cowboys defensive coordinator has to systemize your game and scheme you up to get to the quarterback? It's not you. It's the system. It's not Micah Parsons. If it was truly Micah Parsons would be able to beat Lane Johnson. If it was truly Micah Parsons would be able to beat a 7th-round undrafted international left tackle. Why couldn't he beat him one-on-one? Because it's a system. So what did their coordinator said? All right, now we got to put him behind DeMarcus Lawrence and have him fake like he's going that way just to come back around. My guy, if you are great, let me ask you a question. Reggie White, was he great or was it the system? He was great. It doesn't matter who you put on Reggie White. He was slapping you in the head and you was getting your ass out the way. Period. Micah Parsons, we have to find a way to schematically get him free. Now, why would he ask Jalen Hurts that question? Because he knows that the system is really being used for him. That's free. I give you that one. That's too easy. I give you that one.
Well, so how come they don't just use him where he's at one spot only? Because I think they were kind of doing that with Vander Esch, right?
They can, but it depends. Like, it depends on who he's going against. Micah Parsons looks like a 12th grader going against a 5th grader against a guy who's okay. He'll look dominant, but when he goes against guys who are top tier, he's average. Show me a guy who he bullied. Now, I'm not saying one play. See, the problem with a lot of guys in this new NFL is guys and this is why I don't like Trevon Diggs, not as a player, not as a man. I don't have nothing to do with these guys are great men. Let me just throw that out there. Not an Eagles fan just hating. No, it's not that. I know ball, right? So Trevon Diggs, great season, right, last year. Micah Parsons, great season last year, right? These guys think the NFL is just going to now hand it to them. We're just going to give it to you now, right? You're not a great player unless you can do it over and over and over and over again consistently. Micah Parsons is not doing it consistently. Trevon Diggs is not doing it consistently. He gets burnt, just like what AJ did to him, right? Micah Parsons, if he's a great player, why didn't he impact the game to the point where he took over the game? At one point of the game, did he ever take over? I mean, take over. No, he never took over. And so this is not an attack on Micah Parsons. This is not an attack on Trevon Diggs. This is just to say, this is why Dallas, when it comes to the playoffs, when it comes to the nitty-gritty of the end of the season and it's money on the line, this is why they cannot last. It's because they got their younger tier players. They're worrying about the wrong thing. They're focused on the wrong thing. They only care about themselves, right? You take a picture with LeBron James. What have you done? What have you done? We're not doing that, right? So I just think at the end of the day, Jordan Mailata, yes, I expect him to struggle against a Micah Parsons. But it wasn't like he just broke. Did Jordan Mailata look like Andre Dillard to you? Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you this question. Again, I want to reiterate, Jordan Mailata was an undrafted 7th round pick. No, that's he was he a 7th round pick or was he undrafted?
Undrafted, right? Yeah, he was undrafted.
It was one of them.
No. Damn it. I think. Oh, now I got to think about it now.
Okay, let's just put it like this. Let's just say he was drafted in the 7th round. Our last pick in the 7th round. Did Micah Parsons make Jordan Mailata look like he was a 7th round draft pick?
No.
All right. Case closed. What do you want me to say? If you are a 1st round draft pick, 11th pick overall, I need you to make a 7th round guy look like a 7th round guy. Not like someone who can ball with you, not someone who can play with you. Right? So again, I give credit where credit is due. The Cowboys beat us. They won. But I'm saying in the long run, when the game is on the line,
So what you're saying is that and what you should have seen from Micah was he should have been hitting the quarterback. He should have been
no. Because I'm saying, and I'm not taking away from his game, but I'm going back to my original point because some people probably caught this on the back end. I know sometimes people just sort of paste and copy your words. What I'm saying is Micah Parsons, he started the whole conversation about is it Jalen or is it the system? And to that, I am simply saying when you saw with your own eyes Micah Parsons yesterday, when he lined up against Lane Johnson, he got nothing. When he lined up against Jordan Mailata, it was so-so, right? They had to scheme him up to try to get to Gardner Minshew, right? So the same question that Micah Parsons asked us, Eagles fans, we weren't even looking his way. He said, is it Jalen or is it system? Yesterday, what I saw was the system. It wasn't Micah Parsons. It wasn't Micah Parsons. It was his coaches trying to scheme him up to get to Gardner Minshew. The Eagles have the best offensive line in the game. You can't just get to us. You can't. You got to try to do something different. And I'm saying if Micah Parsons is such a great player, if he's a 20-sack guy, he should not look regular. He should not look average against a guy in Jordan Mailata who was drafted in the 7th round, right? If the real test to see if you are really a dog, if you really got that dog in you, is what sense does it make, Birdman? What sense does it make to put a pit bull right in a ring with a chihuahua? It doesn't make sense. You can't really test you can't test the heart of a man. You can't do it that way. You got to put a pit bull with a pit bull, a lion with a lion. And I'm sitting here telling you that before Lane Johnson got injured, you put the pit bull, Micah Parsons, the lion, Micah Parsons against the lion, Lane Johnson, the pit bull and Lane Johnson, and nothing happened. What happened? Nothing happened. That's what I'm saying. Like, we got to just stop going with what the media is saying. Micah is great. Micah is this. Bro, he's average. He had a great season. Why? Because he was a rookie and nobody knew how to stop him and scheme up against him. Micah Parsons was no difference than a new quarterback coming. Micah Parsons is no difference than the Eagles offense the first year under Chip Kelly. Nobody knew what was coming. Nobody knew how to stop it. The very next year, they said, oh, yeah, we got about 16 games of tape study on you. We know how to stop you. What did Micah Parsons do the first game? All he is fast, bro. That's it. That's all he is. If you make him read and react, what do? You stop his speed. The Eagles play his chess, not checkers. How do you stop a man that's fast, that has great bend? And again, I'll pass it back to you. I'm not taking away from Micah. I'm just asking you to remove the star from the side of your helmet. I'm asking you to remove the eagle wing from the side of your helmet. I'm asking you to look at the tape and tell me what you saw live. If you did not see Micah Parsons take over a game, what is he?
Well, the things on the tape, like I said, he forced Gardner to throw it out of bounds. I think
in the fourth quarter,
maybe 3 times. Remember, we threw it real fast out or whatever. So he had those pressures, and also the last play of the game.
Last play of the game, Micah Parsons made a play. Wow. Okay, go ahead. My bad. The last play of the game? Wow. Yeah. Oh, that's when he showed up. Okay, he showed up on the last play. Oh, you're right, because it was Micah Parsons calling for the timeout because he was out of – oh, my bad. I'm sorry. No. Continue. My bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, yeah, that last play that, it should have been 2 plays. I don't know why they were going for the kill shot right there. But, again, that's coaching right there. I didn't understand that play. It just seemed like they were out of sorts or something like that, But I get what you're saying. I mean, Parsons, we'll see what he does in the playoffs or whatever.
And let me just say this really quick. I want to say this really quick because I don't want to come off like a Micah Parsons hater. I want to get this off really quick. Micah Parsons attacked my quarterback first. My MVP quarterback first, right? If he had never opened his mouth, I would have been still sipping on my Izzy, being quiet, doing, just giving him his props, saying he's a hell of a player. But this is what happens when you open your mouth. You can't just say the guy, pretty much what he said was Jalen is undeserving to be an MVP.
Yeah, I mean, I think – I want to say, like, after the game, he went. I don't know if you saw that on NFL Films. He did go up to Jordan Mailata and shook his hand and just kind of like said that he respects you. He said he respects him. He said he respects you. And then Dallas Goedert's right there. He said, "I respect you guys. I respect what you guys are doing." It was no. He was saying it was not no hatred towards.
Nah, I'm not taking that. Let me tell you why. I would have respected him, right? I would have respected Micah Parsons going up to Jalen Hurts. What Deion Sanders say, I'm not hard to find. Jalen Hurts didn't have on pads yesterday. He didn't have his helmet wasn't on the field yesterday. He was easy to find. So easy to find.
So you just think he's just taking it out on Jalen. He just doesn't. He's not a fan of him.
I just think he's a Jalen Hurts hater. That's all. I mean, he just is Jalen Hurts. I don't know why. Like, you gotta understand, this is why the Philadelphia Eagles, even in the offseason, we have to stop allowing Cowboys players to come around what we're trying to build. Who was at the Devontae? Who had a annual baseball charity event? Was it Devontae's or James?
Yeah. I think it was Devontae's.
Yeah, Devontae Smith had an annual baseball game, and who watched Jalen Hurts hit a home run? Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
Micah Parsons. He already has an inside scoop of what the Eagles are building, right? So he saw this. He knew what the Eagles were up to. Micah Parsons knew what the Eagles was building in the offseason. So to see what we're building in the offseason, to see it actually be a real thing in real life, in real time, You're a hater, man.
So
You know?
Micah's at 13 sacks for the season right now.
And how many sacks does Hassan Reddick have?
Hassan,
Yeah, I think he's about 13 as well.
yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're neck and neck. Hassan Reddick and Micah Parsons, our production is the same.
So does that mean Hassan is what you're basically comparing?
No, I'm not saying that Hassan is better. I think that
not better, but like average, sort of speak.
No, I'm not saying it's average. I don't think 13 sacks is average in at all. I'm just saying you said that he has 13. We got a guy that got 13. Talk to me when he got 25. I'm saying he was on the brink of 20 last year. I'm saying be consistent. I'm saying it's only 2 more games left in the season.
Bosa's got 17.5. Nick Bosa.
You got 13. Another man almost had 5 more sacks more than you do, right? So is it you or is it the system?
Hassan's got 14. He's one.
Oh, sorry, Hassan. I short you one. I'm sorry. So Hassan Reddick has more sacks than Micah Parsons. And guess what? Want me to tell you why I think that's actually quite embarrassing for Micah Parsons? You know why? Because the Eagles don't move Hassan Reddick up and down the line, right? He's in one.
So what are they? What is that? Why are they? I gotta be on this side and back here. Why? What is that?
Jonathan Gannon. He's one way. He has that Jim Schwartz stubbornness to him. He's one way. Whatever. I forget who was his. I would say godfather of defense. Yeah, I don't know who passed down. I mean, Jonathan Gannon is Jonathan Gannon. He's not going to change, right? So, ironically enough, like, you know, Reddick was thanking him, you know, saying he did this for him. But I don't see it. Maybe Hassan wanted to play one position, but I think Hassan could be versatile. Like even just week to week, if the right tackle knows they have to go up against number 7, that's an advantage for them. But if if the right tackle and the left tackle both know they have to plan for him, that's 2 guys having to plan for one player on both sides, right? So I just think from a advantage perspective, it would behoove Jonathan Gannon to play Reddick all up and down on the left side, on the right side, put Josh Sweat on the left side, on the right side. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to play him at one spot. I would treat our end players like they treat Micah Parsons. Put them everywhere, line them up, Joker. Do something.
Let me go back to the Chicago game.
Chicago ain't had to play with. I'm telling you.
What would you have liked to have seen done different as far as the approach went with? I'll just say like I felt that it was unnecessary to just kind of like, I don't know who I put more of the blame on, Jalen or the OC for kind of just like not letting the boys run. You know, I have mixed feelings about it because as much as we praise Jalen about being smart and all that, I just felt that he wasn't making correct decisions and he was taking like unnecessary like tackles, like, you know, I forgot how he wrapped him, like kind of hugged him down, and I thought the NFL wasn't going to.
He tried to hurt Jalen. He tried to hurt. That's already out there. He tried to. Jason Avant, Eagles former wide receiver, great hands. We all know him. On key third downs. He probably should have played on defense against the Cowboys in that 3rd and 30. But anyway, he tried to hurt. He tried to hurt Jalen. You have to understand when teams know that one guy makes the whole thing work, they try to attack him, right? And while on one half I'm like, Micah Parsons, how could you be so silly and disrespect Jalen? The other half is like, thank you for actually saying that, because it's actually proving the point. Once Micah Parsons said that, who did everybody try to attack? Jalen Hurts, because they know he makes the whole thing go. Jalen makes, the running game go. That's why the Eagles struggled in the running game against Dallas. Why? not because they have a great defensive front. It's because you have no threat to the outside, so we're not afraid of it. You only have one place to run. And I thought, Gardner Minshew should have taken the ball and taken off for the run. I don't think he's like super, super duper slow, but I think he could have, had some plays, left some plays out there. But Chicago, listen, I'm going to just tell you this. Justin Fields, that young man is the real deal. He's the real deal. And if he can continue to grow, I think they can be a team. I just think in terms of intangibles and in terms of leadership, he's not on Jalen Hurts' level at all. He's not on Jalen Hurts' level. He's going to need other guys, other veteran young players, superstars to come in and help him out. But Chicago, you can't blame that on Jalen. I'm not going to say you can't. I can't. I won't. I refuse to. Again, I like to tell people, Jalen Hurts can't run the play and call the play. Like, he only can run what is called. So if they call a quarterback design run, it's a quarterback design run. It was clear and evident that the Chicago Bears wanted to stop Jalen Hurts as a runner. That was clear. The first 5 plays, they shut it down. It was not happening. And this is why I'm afraid of the Eagles, because our coaching staff doesn't seem to get the idea of in-time, real game adjustments, right? And I didn't see that. I didn't see Shane Steichen say, okay, well, maybe they're sort of on to us with the whole RPO sort of game. Let's go ahead and just run it down their throat. That's what he should have did. He should have took the ball out of Jalen Hurts' hands and fed it to our running back. Miles Sanders is 5th, 6th in the league now, as far as rushing yards. Miles Sanders didn't touch the football to the second quarter at 6 minutes and 25 seconds.
Yeah.
And we're not even talking about the weather. Like, Jalen Hurts didn't even have time to warm his hands before Shane Steichen said, hey, you go out there and you get it done. To me, it was completely selfish. It was completely lazy. It really exposed who Shane Steichen is. And this is why I don't think he's ready for a head coach. Neither is Jonathan Gannon, because neither one of those coaches have shown us as fans the ability to make in-game adjustments, right? Imagine if I just sat like this. Imagine if I just sat like this for the entire video. You'll probably say, man, that man needs to adjust his lighting. Man, he needs to do something, right? And that's how I feel about Jonathan Gannon. It's like, how long are you going to sit in the dark? Like, just turn the light on. But some of these coaches, they're so selfish and they're so, like, it's their way that they will be willing to sit in the dark. I mean, they would literally sit in the dark. They would sit in the dark, bro. They would literally sit in the dark. And it's sad because it's just like, man, get out the dark. Like, it's just, but I just think they put too much on Jalen. I mean, it was so cold. It was so cold, man. Jalen said, man, I've never played in this type of weather day in my life. I've never done it. And it was just so cold. And when it's cold, you need your big fellas. You need your offensive line to come together. Everybody lock arms and push and just push those big boys back. And that's the game that we should have played. But the Eagles, we couldn't adjust. And, fortunately we was able to come out with the win, but we snuck out of there with the win. We really snuck out of there with the win, but bad coaching. And Nick Sirianni, man, I say this before and I say it again, he has not shown me the ability to check his offensive coordinator and his defensive coordinator in real time. I need you to go over there and say, Shane Steichen, that's not working. Here's a question that I have for all the Eagles fans. Why didn't Nick Sirianni in real time, he knows it's the first quarter, he knows it's the end of the start of the second quarter. How come you didn't go, right, to Shane Steichen and say, Shane, it's the second quarter, my man. Miles Sanders has 0 touches, right? And I'm going to sit here and because sometimes we talk about our figureheads, right? the big title guys, the head coaches, right? I'm gonna work our way down to the assistant coaches on this Eagles staff, right? The running backs coach. Why didn't you go over, right? Say, hey, Nick, man, none of my guys are getting cold. I think it'd be a good idea, right, to get Miles Sanders to feed him the football, right? Nobody said anything, right? Nobody said anything at all. If this is a brotherhood, you should be able to go up to Nick Sirianni and say, hey, Miles Sanders is cold. And what happened? What happened on Miles Sanders' first touch? He fumbled the ball. I wonder why. He fumbled because he didn't touch it. He never got an opportunity to get warm, right? So when Shane Steichen, he doesn't know, and that's what the Chicago game pretty much told me, and I'll pass it to you, is that Jalen Hurts has been getting warm by himself off of sheer talent the whole year. Shane Steichen, there's just certain play calling, and we saw it with Doug Peterson. And this is why I have to show Doug Peterson some love, because Doug Peterson, I don't know if you guys remember, and it's crazy because, the Jaguars, they're doing some good things. They're number one in the AFC over there, AFC South, I believe. Carson Wentz's first game came against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I don't know if you remember, but that first drive, it was beautiful. I mean, it was precision. It was spot on. Doug Peterson understood how to get his quarterback warm. First play, handoff. Second play, a short throw to Zach Ertz. Third play, another screen play to Corey Clement, right? Next play, a 5-yard out to Jordan Matthews. I mean, this thing, and it started picking up. Then the final play that went for the touchdown, bomb, Nelson Aguilar. Shane Steichen doesn't have rhythm. These guys are white. I'm sorry. I got to tell you. White guys don't have rhythm, buddy. I mean, my white brothers, some of them don't have too much rhythm, right? They know how to talk. They can explain the game to you, but it's not much rhythm there. Shane Steichen has to get Jalen Hurts in rhythm.
So, the way everything is kind of set right now.
Yeah.
And then this is so crazy to even say this, but are we ready to go to the dance right now?
Right now at 10:48, let me see. Right now at 10:48, what's today? Day after Christmas, Monday, December 26, 10:48. The Philadelphia Eagles are not ready to compete right now. I think we need a couple, maybe 2 weeks to get healthy. But I think the coaching staff, Nick Sirianni, the last game of the season, final game against the Giants. Excuse me. That bye week. Oh my God! And this is why you preach taking care of the games early on in the season, right? So that you can have these options later on in the season. Okay, you put yourself in a position where you got a first round bye. Now you can everybody can calm down. We got one more week before the big, before we really get this thing going. That week is going to be so crucial. And this is why the Saints game is so big, because we really need to get that first round bye so that we can start healing up, number one, and we can start, figuring out something.
The healing process.
Yeah, the healing process. I'll say this. Howie Roseman, you need to get on the phone with Malcolm Jenkins. What's my guy? Gronk?
Trevon LeBlanc?
No. What's my man? Gronk, 87 from the Buccaneers. He's not the only one who retired and came back. If I'm Howie Roseman, I'm looking at that safety spot and I'm saying, okay, Avonte Maddox has gone down because people forget Gardner C.J. Johnson was originally a nickel cornerback, right? So that's homeland for him. I would stick him right there. I say, Malcolm, could you please, him and Darren Sproles, could you guys please just give me 2 or 3 games? Malcolm Jenkins played last year. He can give you 2 or 3 games. If I'm the Philadelphia Eagles,
T.Y. Hilton gave a game yesterday or 2 days ago.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, I would be on Malcolm Jenkins line so fast. I'm calling Jenkins and I'm calling Darren Sproles and I'm saying, hey guys, do you want to run it back? The last time, I need you. So
Yeah. So if that doesn't happen, do you need to see? You're just gonna wait for the first divisional game and then make your decision there if it's ready or not.
I want to see how Reed Blankenship. I think he can play for us, but I want to see what he looks like the last two games. Number one, from a health perspective, he's coming back from an injury and a knee injury. I think he sprained his knee. I want to see how healthy he is, see if he can make some plays. He's the only guy, right, in NFL history who, the only undrafted free agent who picked off, has an interception against Aaron Rodgers, one of the greatest of all times. And I think that's definitely something to be said because that's not easy. It's definitely a tough task. But I think if he starts to struggle, because that's how they beat us, right? And this is why I say in-game adjustments, right? Jonathan Gannon put our worst safety, Kevon Wallace, on the Cowboys' best wide receiver. How do you make that make sense, right? If you're going to, I would rather almost see Nakobe Dean. Give me Nakobe Dean over Kevon Wallace. Right? Then you put TJ Edwards, you put our linebacker, Kevin White. What was his name? I'm sorry. 43. White, something White.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. You put 43 on 88. It just
Kazir White, right? Kazir, right? Kazir?
Yeah. I'm sorry, Kazir. Don't I apologize. Please don't sign somewhere else in all season. But no, Kazir White, he's a great player. But again, these guys are TJ Edwards. Again, I'll say this again. TJ Edwards and Kazir White, they are great linebackers horizontally. Nakobe Dean can get vertical. He's 22. He has baby knees. He has puppy knees. His knees ain't got no thread on them, no mouse, right? Nakobe Dean can get vertical and horizontal, and we're not using him. He's literally on the bench, and it's just like, I think that's where the Eagles are going to struggle, man. We don't have guys. You attack the Eagles with your slot player. If your slot wide receiver is that's why if I wouldn't want to play the Dolphins, because they would eat our secondary up, because that's what teams are doing. They're saying, like how the Eagles said, okay, Michael Parsons, we're gonna use the speed against you. I'll tell everybody what the people are doing to the Eagles. They're sitting up there saying, okay, we don't have to throw it to Bradbury. We know he's locked down, right? We don't have to throw it to Slade. We know he's locked down. But guess what? Your linebackers can't cover. You try to put TJ Edwards on Jalen Waddle, it's over. And then what? But see, it's like, who's after TJ? Kevon Wallace? That's no security. There's no security. And that's how the Eagles last year, that's how teams started to figure the Eagles out. Oh, all you have to do, and that's why teams were able to run on us, right? Is because all you have to do is get through the first wave of if you could get through Fletcher Cox and Javon Hargrave, you get those guys tired out. Oh yeah, get right to TJ Edwards. Who cares about him? TJ wasn't the same player he was last year, this year. I mean, this year he's taken off. Last year he was solid. He still was like, I think he was top 10 in tackles, but this year he's a difference maker. Last year he made plays. This year he's a difference maker. It's two totally different things. So I just think that ultimately, Birdman, it comes to the coaching. It comes to the coaches. I mean, you see it. You can go out there right now, put on your headphones, and make better adjustments than what we're seeing week to week. And I think that's why I commend Jalen Hurts even more, because I see the mishaps in the play calling from a coaching perspective, and he's just like making lemon out of lemonade. You know, he's definitely making.
They're kind of just living off his success of what he can do.
Bro, his success in that. I mean, we got ballers.
Well, I mean,
now.
I shouldn't say success. His talent. I should say his talent.
Yeah, I mean, because of his talent, you have to worry about it. It's like you ever see. I mean, I'm trying to come up with a good analogy. Like sometimes I'm not saying we need police officers. We absolutely cannot defund police officers, right? But then there's some officers that are just like in the suburbs, and they're just sitting there, and it's like, you ever had that thought to yourself? It's like, dude, you're just wasting gas and money. It's like, we don't really need you here, but you really do need them there, right? Until you need them there. So it's just like, I just think Jalen, he makes it go. Like he causes you to think. But the Eagles got talent, man. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, we all know the story. Jalen just takes it to another level. I just think ultimately, week to week, these coaches got to get better. And I think as fans, myself included, man, like I personally put too much like pressure on just Jalen and all of these players. It's like, yo, it's time for us going into the playoffs. We got to look at these coaches.
We'll start to wrap it up here. How concerned will you be if it's Gardner Minshew to start against the Saints?
Oh, boy. I would be very...
1 out of 10.
1 out of 10 concern. I got to go at least a 9. I got to go a 9. And it's because the coaches, if you gave me consistent coaches with a confident Gardner Minshew who's trying to show the world what he can do, I'm at like a 4 or 5. I'm a little lower, but when I see a game, with much to your credit, how you said earlier about, I think they put too much on Gardner's plate. I thought we should have stayed with the run more. I thought we could have did some running back screens, some tight end screens. We all know that Dallas Goedert is like the Dallas killer when it comes to screens, right? Yeah. And in that Jets game, it was Gardner Minshew and Dallas Goedert who really got warmed together, right? I think that was his career high against the Jets because Gardner was really just feeding them. And I thought we just got away from getting, Dallas Goedert the football. But if we have to, we can beat them. I think the Saints roster is just that bad. I think there are some teams like the Detroit Lions who are better than 7-7 or 7 or 8, whatever their record is. There are some teams that's a little worse than 6-9, like the Saints. I think they're really a 3-4. I mean, a 3-14 team. I mean, a 12 team, 3-12 team, right? I think the Broncos are not a 3-14 team. I think they're a 1-11 team. I think they're that bad, right? So there's some teams that sort of they're hiding under their record, but I feel like Gardner can win. He can definitely win, but it comes down to what it's going to come down to. At this point of the season, you are who you are. There's no changing, right? We're married at this point, right? Like, you are who you are. Nothing's going to change. And so it's either the coaching staff is going to figure it out fast and become consistent and get the job done in there, or we're just going to have to just keep winging it every game. Because as a fan, you can't tell me that Jonathan Gannon is consistent. You can't tell me Shane Steichen is consistent. And this is the last thing I'll say on the consistency. Remember, guys, in last year's playoff game against the Bucs, Devontae Smith was having a hell of a season. The game before the Bucs, we played against the Giants, I believe, and Nick Sirianni, as a play caller, he was force-feeding Devontae the football just so that he can break Deshaun Jackson's record, right? Devontae Smith was our number 1 wide receiver last year. We get to the playoffs. What does Nick Sirianni do? He doesn't give Devontae Smith the ball to the second quarter, right? So it's the same habit, different coach. Jalen Hurts' Chicago Bears, they don't give Miles Sanders the football until the second quarter. Same habit, different coach. Same habit, different year. We got to get that fixed, Birdman.
And I'm one more thing. A lot of people like to say that the only reason why we are here is because the schedule is too easy, right? And I don't look at it like that. I look at it the what we're doing, what we're actually doing.
Yeah.
Me and you are not used to having an AJ Brown here. We are always with the handouts, the white
Hank Brackett.
sides and the Ragars, and we could go down the list of terrible receivers for the Eagles. Me and you are not
Kevin
accustomed
Curtis.
yeah, we are not Hank Basket. We are not
James
used
Thrash.
to
God. Todd
so
Pinkston. God. Please.
you know,
LJ Smith.
and me and you before everything happened with the draft and AJ Brown. I mean, remember we're like, there the Eagles signed Pascal, and we're
Zach.
like, what? Like, is that it? That's everything, because we're
That's
like,
it.
I mean, I was already saying like they really don't want Jalen to do anything.
Yeah,
They think
nah.
that he's going to make some sort of magic out of nothing, like try to do that Carson Wentz thing with no 500-yard receivers or some
Right.
crap like that.
Right.
But unless I'm just not knowing football, I just refuse to believe that it's because of the easy schedule that why we're winning games. Because I'm looking at the production, and I know it's all haters and all that stuff, but I refuse to believe that, and I truly believe that this team can go somewhere. Other barring like major injuries, like of course if Jalen was not playing or something, then yeah, it's a different story for a different game. Yeah, so
Yeah.
but I can't wait till this is like over. I mean, it's not we got a while to go, but I just like what are me and Pablo going to be saying after the Super Bowl? Like what happened? Like I can't. And hopefully it's a what we want. This is this. I want another one. I need another one.
Yes, sir. For sure.
I need another one. We both need another one. The city, and with Jalen, I'm just so tired of the smack talk about how he's not a good quarterback. He's only a running back quarterback. I'm just so sick, tired of the stupid narrative and the blasphemy. It's just I'm so sick and tired. I was just it's like, man, just like it's so important for what's to come. It's like it's so important, It's not just because like, oh, I need the Super Bowl now. It's just like everything that is here now, that what we're witnessing, like it's due for greatness. And people can there, even if we win the bowl again, people are gonna be, oh, lucky you won it because it was an easy schedule and you played a third string guy or Dallas isn't that good in the postseason anyways, and like, oh, here comes all the crap.
There's gonna be something, yeah. There's gonna be something. It always is, but this whole season has taught me that no NFL is no NFL game is easy. Ask the Cowboys. Was the Texans game easy? Right? They played a couple of teams that didn't win over 3 games, and they were struggling to the very end. Right? The same thing with Detroit before they got warm. I feel like the Eagles, at the end of the day, you stack wins. That's why you strap on your helmet. That's why you put on your cleats, right? That's why you put on your shoulder pads. It's because you come to win. And the Eagles have this whole season, right up until this point, we have won 90% of our football games, right? And all you can do is clap. I mean, if you're sitting there hating, I don't know how. I don't know how because, when I look at this team, the Eagles can lose the rest of this year, get bounced their first playoff game, and I still would be satisfied, right? Because nobody thought the Eagles could be in a position. This is we was talking about this offline. I think you said something about Verge. And I said, man, that's powerful. Like the word verge, like the Eagles are on the verge. We're on the cusp, like we're on the verge to a Super Bowl appearance. A verge means like you're somewhere near it. You're somewhere close. It's like you put in your GPS, how far is how close is the nearest IHOP? It's like, oh, serious, like, oh, it's 10 minutes away. You're going. Because you can get there, like it's in your sight. It's there. It's somewhere around, and you know, a lot of people don't understand this, but the Eagles only added one player to this offense last year, and that was AJ Brown. One guy. It's not like we added all these players. We added one guy who happens to be his best friend, but we added one piece on offense and a couple of pieces on defense. And this thing turned around.
Forget about Pascal.
Oh yeah, my bad. I'm sorry, Zach. I'm sorry, I forgot about you, Zach, because he's definitely the legend. Yeah, because he's the one that kind of had us freaked out there. But you know, I think for the Eagles to even be in this position, and this is sort of how I got through the Dallas loss was, you know what, I had to really. Not just because it's Christmas, but I really, you know, to folks who celebrate, I just had to really be grateful. Like I had to sit there and say, how are you not grateful? Well, because we lost. Like I'm that kid that I got the iPhone 14. I got the regular one. Well, my parents said I was going to get the 14 Max in a couple of weeks, right? But this one's I mean, it's like, and it's like I'm doing all of that, and it's just like the Eagles are looking at me like, are we not 13-2?
Yeah.
Like, but that's why I love being an Eagles fan, because it's like we don't settle. And I have so much respect to every single Eagles fan, because every time we talk, do you know how many Cowboys fans I talk to, and the first thing they say something about a Super Bowl. When I talk to most Eagles fans, how do you think about Jalen? Do you think he's the guy? Do you think he's really the guy? How much would you pay him? Nobody in the city of Philadelphia, no Eagles fan, no matter where you are, Eagles fans everywhere could care less about the last Super Bowl that we won just 5 years ago. They don't care. We tell you why they don't care, because they want another one. We want more, right? We're not sitting here saying, oh, we're not satisfied with the last one, right? And so being satisfied over a dinner that you had in 1995, that's pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. We got leftovers from 5 years ago, and we don't even want to heat it up and warm it up and have a bite. We don't want to bite it out of that Super Bowl. We want another one, right?
Yeah,
so
it's crazy because, like, you know, when we sit here and think about it, and we might have that rematch, Rocky versus Apollo Creed. And, you know, Jalen and Dak one more time. And it's just like he is on the verge of just ripping Dak's heart out and saying, hey, man, I'm sorry to do this to you, man, but your time is up, you know, and I want to see that. I do want to see it.
That'll be big. If it ends up being Dallas versus Philly, which I don't think it will be, because we'll go ahead and get the first round bye. But if it does happen to go that way, I'm definitely going to the game. That's number one. I'm already saving my coins to go to whatever game that matters. Like, you know, because I always tell everybody about Eagles former running back Donnell Pumphrey, man, former fourth round pick out of San Diego State. I met him against at that time was the Washington Redskins, and he gave me some tickets to the game, to the NFC Championship game against the Vikings. And I was able to sit next to, what's her name? What's our Holly Pooley Vitae? His mom. I sat right next to her during the NFC Championship game, and it was crazy. It was a great time. And yeah, man, like I just like, man, like this year, if the Eagles, if we make it, which we are, I'm definitely going to a playoff game. So, yeah, man. Thank you so much, sir, man, for having me on your show, man. This Eagles therapy session was good, man. This is a good therapy session, man.
You know, we just gotta have a kind of just release it and kind of, you know, I mean, it would have been awesome, but here we are, and
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing how when you're the captain is on the side and not in the ship, what can transpire, and we just all witnessed it, and everybody's talking about it. Even Dallas fans, they know. It's not. They want to always make that comparison. Well, you guys beat our back, or we lost, so it's the same thing. And it's like it's not. You guys know what it is, and you know what's going to happen. Do you really think that you're going to go to Philly and come out alive? No, it's not going to happen. I mean, like, shout out to E-Rock. He was saying that the Cowboy fans and the Cowboys basically shot their load on that game. Like, they went all in. They think they're going to get crowned because of it. That's not, it wasn't as important. That game was all the way important to them.
Yeah.
It was all the way, and that's not an excuse or whatever, but I'm just saying that game meant more to them because they have not slept, because they took that L out of Philly, and it's going to be a repeat because you will take another L in Philly. You'll be leaving with another one. Another one.
Like Brandon Graham said, man, in the look in those guys' eyes when I was watching the press conferences of the players after the Cowboys game, they didn't have too much to say. They said, you know what, good game. They gave it up to the Cowboys, and I respect our players for doing that, because a lot of guys, like i.e. Micah Parsons, instead of just giving a guy his respect, you got to question it. Our guys just said, Brandon Graham said, you know what, I give it up to those guys. They came out, they punched us in the mouth, they beat us square, fair and square. But he said, we'll see him again. That's it. We'll see him again. And that's all I have to say is we'll see him again. And you better believe that Jalen Hurts has that potential game marked, right, on his calendar. He doesn't forget anything. He knows that if he was probably out there, it would have went the other way. But it's cool. We'll eat this one. I think, one of the things that I want to teach my son is, everybody can win, right? Everybody can win. If I say, hey, Birdman, you are the best content creator ever, give it up for Birdman, right? If I say that, right, that's all cool, right? But what happens if I say, oh, not too many people watch the video? Or what happens if I tell my son, you can't do this, you can't do that. So if I just say you just lost, right? I want to be able to teach my son, how to lose. And that's what the Eagles showed me after the Cowboys game. We know how to lose. The best winners, champions, know how to win and lose, right? We lost. We took it on our chin. The Eagles fans, heal up. We're going to heal up from this.
Right.
We're going to heal up from this.
And one thing I did notice is that we got all these achievements. We Pro Bowlers, yards, and everything.
Nobody cares.
And you could see the disgust on Miles Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely disgusted. And like you said about Kobe, the job isn't done yet. And
not done.
You can even though he's wearing his helmet and I can't see his eyes, I can see through the screen. I could feel how upset he is. Truly, it didn't matter about his yards. It doesn't matter about where he's going. It's the now. We're in the now. We're not in the later. We're in the now. And like I said, if I'm reading this right, the Saints, I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to pay for what's been done.
Yeah, we're gonna have to put you on that lap, like so. Put you here, and beat that butt. I do apologize. It's gonna be night time. It's night time. Just go ahead, rest your head, go to sleep, and just take this L.
I'm sorry.
Hey, look, take this L. Man, take this L.
Sorry, Andy Dalton.
Take this L. The L is coming.
Yep, that's true. Facts. But all right, man, this has been good Eagles therapy with the Birdman and Pablo. Appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir, man. You already know.
And all right, guys, stay tuned. Hit that like button on your way out. Support your boy one time. Make sure you go sub up Pablo as well.
Yes, sir.
And we'll see you guys later. Go Birds.
Night, night, Saints. L is coming.